Hey guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Jazz. It's wonderful to be with you today.
Really cool. We're so excited to actually hang with you guys. Yeah.
I just have one question for Mike. Why is there a box?
I'll tell you why there's a box. So I saw this game on the internet the other day that I thought that we could play.
Okay.
All right. Are you keen? You game?
Willing to give it a try?
All right. So essentially what the game is that there's 3 objects in this box.
Okay.
You don't know what they are.
Okay.
And only by touch, you have to tell me and identify what they are. So are you keen for something like that?
As long as there's no creepy crawlies or squishies, I think I can play.
Okay, so she doesn't like creepy crawlies or squishies.
Not at all.
But guaranteed there's nothing like that in there. Okay. So why don't you just give it a go?
Okay, I'm gonna give it a go. Let's see. Okay, big, round, soccer ball.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, well, that was easy.
I feel like you're gonna be good at this game.
Next one, less big, smaller. Grapefruit? Orange?
Grapefruit.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I can do that.
Oh, she's actually pretty good at this.
2 hands. What about apple?
She's too good at this, yeah, that's an apple. Okay, all right, so, yeah. So you got it really easy, but would you say it would be easier to identify what these things are if the box was out of the way?
I mean, if I didn't have the box, I probably would just see what they are.
It's true, yeah. If you saw that, you'd see all the different characteristics, what it looks like, what it feels like, what it could possibly taste like.
Fair enough. I feel like that's very similar to how we know some characteristics about God, and then other characteristics we're still to find out, right? I think it's a great time to head over to Adam, who's going to tell us more about what God is like.
If your teacher at school was asked to write a description of you as a person, which would be sent to your parents, what do you think they would write? Would it be a good report? Imagine then that your teacher was very busy, so they asked you to write the description for them and put it on their desk when you'd finished. Your first response might be a huge sigh of relief. But think about it, how would you describe yourself? When we describe a person, of course, we're not only describing how they behave. So you could say you're kind, if in fact you've been kind, but you might also describe the colour of your hair. You might say you work hard, if you actually do work hard, but you might also talk about how old you are or how tall you are. As people, we change over time. We learn things, our character changes, but also our appearance changes. As we get older, we get taller. Well, some of us not so tall. But you know, for boys, your voice might change, you get deeper. For girls, other things change. When you're as old as me, you get wrinkles around your eyes and your hair starts going grey. The amazing thing about God is that He never changes. The Bible teaches us about God's characteristics, and the amazing thing is that He is like that all the time. He has never not been all the things that He is, and He will always be all those things. So let's take a look at what God is like. God is uncreated. This means that no one made God. He doesn't have a dad and a mum, and He doesn't have a birthday. God is eternal. He has always existed, and He will always exist. He had no beginning, and He will have no end. Our lives on earth are like a short line. We're born on a certain day, and we die on a certain day. But for God, it's as if that line just goes on forever and forever and forever, forever to the left, forever to the right. God has been in existence forever, and He'll carry on existing forever. It's very hard for us to understand that because our minds work according to time, and we can't really understand what infinity is like. But that's God. God is entirely self-sufficient. He needs nothing from anyone. He is complete in Himself, never had to rely on anyone for anything ever. In the Bible, He actually says, if I was hungry, would I ask you for food? That's God. He doesn't need anything from anyone. God is all-powerful. There is absolutely nothing that He is not powerful enough to do. He never needs to be helped with anything. And the word that we sometimes use to describe all-powerful is omnipotent. God is all-knowing. There's nothing that He does not know. And that includes all of our thoughts and all of our feelings. We describe him as omniscient. He knows everything about everything. God is present everywhere, all at once. He's not restricted to being in one place at a time like we are. Even Jesus, when he was on earth, was only in one place at a time, but God, by his Holy Spirit, is everywhere all the time. For our whole lives, we find ourselves in a particular place at a particular time. It's impossible for us to be two places at once, but God is not only in two places at once, he's everywhere, always. A word that describes being present everywhere, always, is omnipresent. God never changes in any way. The word we use for that is immutable. God doesn't have good days and bad days. He isn't sometimes loving and sometimes not, or sometimes caring and sometimes not, or sometimes forgiving and sometimes not. The writer to the Hebrews wrote that Jesus Christ, who is God, is the same yesterday, today, and forever. In all creation, only God never changes. What an amazing God we serve.
Do you know, Mike, one of my favorite things about God is no matter how long I walk with him, no matter how much time I spend with him, I'll never, ever fully know everything there is to know about him.
It's so true. We will never fully know everything there is to know about him. But that's the cool thing. It doesn't discourage me from wanting to worship him and live for him and follow him. It actually encourages me to want to know him more, to live for him. And that's what Dion is actually going to share about now. So let's head and check that out.
So today we spoke about how big God is. Very special topic for me because I've always just loved speaking about God. When I read the Bible, I love just looking at the Bible, reading the Bible through the lens of how big God really is. And if God is so big, he has everything that I need. And I can ask him for everything and anything in my life. Not only is he very big, but he knows everything. And because he knows everything, he knows me intricately and intimately. And I can talk to him about anything in my life. I can trust him with anything in my life. And that's just a wonderful truth to know. So in all the years that I've served the Lord, this is what I've tried to understand and learn and live by, that the God of the universe not only loves me, but he lives inside of me. And I need to live every day as if he's next to me, as if he's near me, and so give my life to glorify his name. And that's what he wants for your life too. He wants you to know that because he's big doesn't mean that he doesn't want to come live inside of you. He wants to come live inside of you. He wants you to live for him. He wants you to know that he's present and near you all the time.
You know, Jazz, it actually blows my mind that God is so big, and so powerful, and yet he's so personal and wants to be involved in every aspect of my life.
That's so true, and it reminds me of our verse of the day from 1 Timothy 1:17 that says, "The King of the ages, the immortal, invisible, the only God, to him be honor and glory forever." It's amazing that that's the God, that big God, that wants to be involved in my life.
Yeah, it actually, when I hear the words King of the Ages, Immortal One, it kind of sounds like he never changes. He's always the same.
You're right. King of the ages is like from the beginning to the end, he's the same. Immortal, he's always there. Invisible, only God, the only one who deserves all our honor and glory forever. It's amazing. And it actually reminds me, I think there's a word for never changing.
There is a word. Wait, we need to learn about this word. We got Hannes who's going to share about this word. So let's go and hear what he has to say.
Hey everyone. Because God never changes, we say that he is immutable. The word comes from two Latin words, in, which means not or cannot, and mutare, which means to change. God is immutable, and He doesn't ever change or cannot ever be changed from who He is and what He is like. This means that His infinite wisdom, faithfulness, goodness, love, mercy, and holiness, which is His perfection, are and will always be the same. We never have to worry that God will maybe change His love towards us. Because He is immutable, that can never happen.
Immutable.
What a word.
Dude, can I confess something? I have to confess. I kind of learned that word now.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I guess we learn something new every day. And with that, we're gonna give over to your leaders where you guys are gonna discuss more about the characteristics of God. And until next time.
Until then,
bye-bye.
cheers.